Photoshop makes it very easy to measure, align, and accurately place objects. Let's take a look at how to do that. We're going to use the same image that we had open in the previous lesson, so if it's still up on your screen, you're one step ahead of the game. I'm going to go to Control-O on the PC, Command-O on the Mac, open, go to Chapter 2, select Guides, press the Return key. I'm going to assign Adobe RGB as our working color space. I'm going to press Return. Now we have the document up in our window. If you have this open from the previous lesson, you are probably in one of the full screen modes. What I'd like for you to do is go up here to the top to the mode switcher and set your document to standard screen mode. Now the first thing we're going to take a look at is rulers. And how do we view the rulers? We go up to the View menu and click on Rulers. Note the shortcut command of Control-R on the PC, Command-R on the Mac. And now we have rulers around our document. The great thing here is that it tells us the dimensions. We can see that this document is 10 inches by 10 inches. It's a square. Now, this is showing in inches. If we right-click or Control-click on the Mac, on this image, we could change the dimensions to pixels, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas, or percents. Lots of choices here. Here, we'll leave it at inches, but note that you have those options. So it's all well and good that we know that here is 0 and there is 10, so we have 10 inches across. What if we want to know the measurement of an object in the document? For example, we want to know what's the width of this red square. Well, we can go over here to the upper left corner of the rulers, click and drag, and notice we see these horizontal and vertical lines. That is our origin point. We are setting our origin point now to the edge of this red square, and we know that now it is 3 inches across. 3 inches left to right, 3 inches top to bottom. So you can drag your origin point anywhere you want in the image. Now if you'd like to reset it back to its default 0 at the edge of the document, you simply go back here in the upper right hand corner and double click, and we are back to 0. We also have another tool for measurement, the ruler tool. If we go down here where the eyedropper icon is, we click, hold it down, we can see that underneath here is a ruler tool. Now watch what we can do. If we didn't know that this square was 3 inches, we could simply take the ruler, set it on the left edge of the square, drag it over to the right edge, and if we let go, note up here in the options bar, L1 is our length. That is showing us that it is 3 inches. If you're seeing a drastically different number here, make sure that in the options bar you have Use Measurement Scale unchecked. Well, with a 3 inch by 3 inch square, how long is the diagonal? I wasn't very good in math, so I'm going to have to actually measure this. Staying at that upper left hand corner, we bring it all the way down here to the right, and we can see that the diagonal of a square is 4.2 inches and some change. So that's great. We've got the ruler tool that we can use to measure lots of different things. We've also got guides that we can use. I'm going to go and click on the marquee tool just to get rid of that display of the ruler. And I'm going to move right up into the ruler bar, click and drag down to the image, and I've got a horizontal guide. I'm going to move over here to the ruler bar on the left, click and drag, and I've got a vertical guide. Now guides are great for aligning objects along their edges. You'll notice down here in the layers palette that we have 3 separate layers. We're going to go into layers in a future chapter, but for right now the thing to understand about layers is that they allow us to move objects individually. So let's go to the tool panel, select the move tool, make sure you have auto select checked. That's very important. With this checked, we're going to be able to click on this red square, drag and move just that red square, leaving the other squares alone. So you can see we can easily align this up against the guides. Now you'll notice that when you drag, you sort of feel a tiny little magnetic pull that's letting you butt right up against that edge without spilling over. That's because we've got Snap to Guides on. In the View menu, you can see this snap has a check mark next to, and what is it snapping to? Well, one of the things it's snapping to is guides. So that's a handy feature. We don't have to sort of guess of when we're there. You can kind of feel the tug of it snapping your image right there. Now once we've placed guides, we can move them. You can see the cursor turning into a double vertical line with arrows on either side. That means that we are selecting the guide and I can drag it in any direction that I want to. I can do the same for the horizontal. If you're finished with the guides and you want to just get rid of them, you can go up to View and Clear Guides, and that is going to throw your guides away. Now the last thing I want to talk to you about is something called Smart Guides. Let's go up to the View menu, and we're going to go to Show and Show Smart Guides. Well, nothing has happened, but watch what happens as we start to move this red square. As I move it over, look at that. As soon as I am centered over the blue square, I get 3 magenta smart guides. It's telling me that I've aligned in the center and I've aligned on the left and right edges. If I move further to the right, it shows me now that I have aligned to the center and to the right edge of that blue square. If I keep going, look at this. Now I'm completely aligned bottom edge to top edge. Smart guides are great when you're trying to just visually place things very quickly, but you want to be precise. So you can see that we have a lot of ways to move and align images and also measure them. These are going to come in very handy as you start to work with discrete elements in Photoshop and put them together into a single image.